Testing, testing. Well, here I am, and I have once again gone down yet another rabbit hole. I started working in nodes within Grasshopper and Lunchbox, noticing I could start reading Excel files, but with a little bit of research and jumping into LinkedIn Learning with Graham's studies. I just want to share a little bit of script. I'm not going to do it in detail because it's not my script, but I just want to walk through how I'm thinking about it, starting to wrap my head around this. And it's doing less and less with the mouse, and it's more and more with the keyboard, which is going to get out of control. But basically, they provide a nice file of data, XYZ coordinates through a certain amount of points in Excel, and I'm going to kind of tuck that away because we don't need it. And what you'll see here is in their Grasshopper script, they're able to produce a Python node that all I've done is it outputs points and builds a point system. I've taken it to a surface when I'm done. So I've really done so minimal in Grasshopper, the main part of this being the Python script, and I'll enlarge that and show you what's going on and what I'm starting to wrap my head around. And I'll walk through it. The first thing of this whole class, it's online, I would recommend getting it and following Graham's Python scripting, is you're going to have a sense of, okay, basically all this data comes in. You're going to start importing Rhino geometry as RG, not Rhino syntax as RS. And you're going to import the CLRs, which is I've heard it explained. They explain it really well in here. It's like it's the thing that lets things on .NET, the environment of .NET, interpret many different structures into Python code. So I have to remember what it's called. It's something learning, reading of things. But when you import it, and I'm sorry I don't know enough about it, I'm just trying to get my head around .NET as an application and how different things get stuck inside other things. I work my way up to understanding variables and functions and classes and modules and libraries or whatever, libraries in these applications, and then slowly things get tucked into something that can actually read from different programs in the window. And I'm starting to get my head around programming languages like C#, Python, things like that, but I'm understanding CLR is the tool to really make them interface through .NET. So you got to watch the videos to get your head around it if you want to go there. But basically, I'm able to add reference and read from going into other sites that I'm starting to bookmark. Microsoft Office, I never jumped into here, and look into Excel. It's a tough library to really get a sense of, but once you import it as Excel, you can start using the functions that are within that. So they're opening a workbook, and R is making this. I'm learning how to go to my directories, find a file, bring it in as a string to where that information is, so I don't have to find it, or it doesn't have to find it on my desktop. And I can gain access to that data. Once I get that data, it's not that much harder than referencing what those points as lists would be. And it's a range that's going to flow through the rows and the count of those. So no matter what data goes in, it'll read that. You start thinking of things as their variables or what values are within them. And yes, I don't have my head fully around this, but it's the same pattern as making a list, appending the list. And then what I found new is you have to close out workbook. You have to leave the application. So there's some more keywords that Python's been using. And then you just set your ABC to those points. And to think that I could go from this Excel sheet, ABCs, and translate it into Grasshopper with this simple node and script, which I can use again and again and again on any Excel document. And I can pull whatever's coming out of it. It turns out they're actually numbers. So they're references to XYZ, which then can be put into points. And then you can do whatever you want with it. So I've never thought data driving geometry so much. And yes, I'm new to it, but the reason I'm putting it out there is you never stop getting more and more into the complexities, more and more into the details. And from somebody that never came from a computer background, I got interested in it in math, but I left that for visual arts. To see it once, it's such a new window into your head and a new way of thinking. It's hard to forget it. Now, you might not remember it in full detail, but you won't forget you learned it and you saw it somewhere. So you keep going farther into it, and it makes reading text and understanding the interplay between languages, when you know one, it can come play into the other one. And you learn to debug. You learn to really watch the details. You learn to build in a way you never built before. And being a sculptor, that's totally interesting for me conceptually to get a full understanding of this. And once I set up a script that can run, I thank them. I'm glad I signed up for this course. I'm going to continue going with it. I'm so excited to see where it ends up going after this video tutorial. I think I have it up here somewhere. Yeah, I'll jump from modules, importing libraries, and we'll go into the Grasshopper libraries and see what it can offer. It just keeps going and going and going through modules, and then hopefully I will be able to just use this language, pull in data, and start evaluating services, creating panels, splitting, sorting, making attractors, transforming, lofting, and do that all in Python. And I'm like baby steps right now with it, but because I've done it in Node script for the last year, really intensely for the last 3 months, to neaten things up and to tuck things away into these incredible packed, what you could consider a cluster, but really just a Python script within the Python node. It's going to allow me to think more and more about development and be more and more helpful to how that happens. There'll be a lot of mistakes along the way and a lot of other people's scripts that I stand on to get sure footing. But very excited as to where this will go and what geometries might be made. When I do figure this out conceptually and I can think an object and I can create it through these means, I will take them to print, I'll take them to fabrication, take them into bronze, aluminum, and things like that. Probably abstract sculpture off the start, very formal work to start with. And hopefully it will have more and more meaning. The best thing about this is being data driven from the info coming in on right now I think these points are pretty meaningless. They have no significance. This could be your temperatures. This could be populations. This could be predicted. And once you have data, you can do anything with it. And you can collaborate with the computer and have a co-generative means of modeling and meaningfully have that. So I hope this makes a little sense. I'm very excited with where it will go. The more you go deep and rich into it, the more content comes into the work. Thanks for watching.